We may have to move from this wind. Okay, rugby fans, welcome to beautiful Thompson Rugby Park, home of the Oshawa Vikings Rugby Club, and of course your Durham Lords men's and women's rugby programs. It's an awesome fall afternoon for OCAA Championship Rugby. Today we have our undefeated Durham Lords men's team versus the 4-1 Georgian Grizzlies from Barrie area. Your Lords will be wearing the whites, and Georgian will be wearing their road blues. My name is Chris McKee, and I'll be your play-by-play commentator, and I'm joined by Eric Noyes, who will be your color commentator. Eric is a former assistant coach with the Durham Lords and has won a few medals in the last few years with them, and is now the head coach of the Trent University men's varsity team. Eric, do you have some information you want to share with us about these teams today?
Absolutely, Chris. Wonderful to be here, and thanks to my colleague for the wonderful introduction there. Chris McKee is the head coach of the Durham College women's sevens team, who took home the gold medal last week, and we will be talking about that a little later on in the matchup. We have a couple of interviews coming up at halftime that we're excited to get to. Also a shout out to SJ, who's on the camera for us this afternoon. So just a little build up to the game here. These two, bit of a modern day rivalry over the last 4 years or so. So this is the third meeting in a championship game for both these squads in the last 4 years. So just on the road to get to the final here today. Durham finished top of the table, 4-0 record with a point differential of plus 222. So quite dominant on both sides of the ball. Georgian finishing up the regular season in second place with a 3-1 record, with their lone defeat coming to these Durham Lords in Georgian on October 15th. Durham came away with that win 45-12. Georgian's point differential was plus 92 on the year. Both teams earned a bye in the quarterfinal to get here. And then last weekend in their semifinal matchups, Durham hosted the Sheridan Bruins and took home a commanding 52-8 lead, and Georgian defeated St. Lawrence in their semifinal with a score of 34-15. We're just going to pause for our national anthems here. The rosters before we get into the kickoff here. I'll start with the Georgian men. At number 2 hooker, Jack Ahem. Number 4 prop, Chad Arkney. Number 16, Nathan Brown. Number 25, Brody Kadri. Number 19, Rahal Delpakitra. Number 5, Troy Dice. Number 26, Shalika Fernando. Number 23, Glon Healy. Number 21, Ryan Irvin. Number 22, Halil Kanat. Playing 8-man, Riley Kirk. At 15, Duncan Montague. At 12, Rylan Moulton. Number 11, Ethan Phillips. Number 18, Evan Polchinski. Number 1, Jesse Putze. And number 13, Rob Reiner. Number 7 is James Rob Kennedy. Matt Tramstra will be playing 10.
and Matthew Turco at 9 at scrum half, and at 14 will be Jacob Zajac.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Chris. I'm going to introduce your home Durham Lords here, wearing their home white jerseys. Number 22, center Connor Barkley. Number 8, Brendan Beck. Number 18, Sebastian Bonk. Number 6, Terrell Carter. Number 9, Brock Dunn. Number 13, Josh Jasome. Number 12, Robbie Elatis. Number 11, Tyler James. Number 15, Alex Lee. Number 2, Patrick Lynch. Number 7, Jack McIntosh. Number 21, Tyler McGuire. Number 23, Malcolm McClear McGreary. Number 4, Devin Parson. Number 3, Dylan Parson. Number 16, Aaron Ramlokin. Number 1, Mackenzie Rowley. Number 17, Owen Schuster. Number 14, Alex Shuchuk. Number 19, Brian Sabalo. Number 5, James Stockwood. Number 20, David Stralick. And number 10, Reese Watkins.
So we're set to kick off, and Georgian will be kicking to Durham. The number 10. Matt Triemstra will be getting this game going.
Apologies for the wind, folks. We are perched up rather high here, and the wind is blowing right at our back. So quite a windy day. Might be hard to pick up on your screen, but it is a little windy out here today.
Eric, I've noticed that both these teams have very large packs, a lot of big forwards, so it could be a big battle up front today.
It definitely could be. The Durham pack, absolute bunch of monsters out there. A couple of highlights for their pack. Their second rows both stand about 6'6", 275 to 315 pounds, kind of in that ballpark. And their number 8, Brendan Beck, has just been a bowling ball on the field this year for them. So definitely some big meat in the forwards for Durham, and Georgian certainly the same. So it's going to be a battle of the bigs today, especially if the wind continues to pick up.
And as you noticed, as you mentioned, Brendan Beck led the league in scoring this year, followed by the number 13 for Georgian, Rob Reiners. So obviously some very skilled offensive players out there today, and we'll see how that matchup goes.
Absolutely. We're just waiting for the in-house commentator to finish up, and our match official today is James Fitzgerald, and he is just getting the game started here.
And here we go. So not the start Georgian wanted, as that kick did not go 10, so we're going to have a Ben Elbow free kick penalty at half for the Durham Lords.
So, Chris, it is a scrum option taken by Durham here. Obviously, like you mentioned, not the start Georgian wanted. The Durham scrum has been a big platform for them, so this is looking pretty optimal for them here to start.
I apologize for that, Eric. I'm in my sevens mode, and I thought that was a Ben Elbow penalty. But yes, we have a scrum at center.
So the Durham back line setting up 3 attackers off to the left side of the scrum, 2 out fairly wide to the right. This sets up nicely for an 8 pick if they want it. Good body position, footwork looks a little slippery out there.
And it is indeed an 8-man pick by Brendan Beck. Goes to 9, Brock Dunn.
Big one-up tackle by Georgian here. Keeping the feet moving, just how you teach it.
Jack McIntosh taking the ball for Durham. Good tackle by the Georgian forwards there. Durham secured the ball. Taking it on, making the gain line. Continuing to the left. Big Jimmy Stockwood going for a run there.
Dylan Parson, defenders absolutely bouncing off of him here. Great clear out. Good clean ball by Durham here in the first 5 or 6 phases. That's going to be key to this game.
And Dylan Parsons' big brother, Devin Parsons, taking it on there.
Georgian, some outstanding defense here. Durham has not been able to crack the Georgian defensive line and played about almost 10 phases here between the half and the 10-meter line. They just can't seem to gain any positive ground here.
Oh, Brock Dunn just got smashed there in the head. Looks like he's finding his way back to the ruck. Durham back on the attack.
Reese Watkins attacking a gap. It looks like
a penalty against Durham to Georgian. I'm going to say probably no release in the contact there.
Okay, outstanding defense. I mean, Georgian came to play today. If that's the tone setter for the match, this is going to be a defensive battle. So, definitely, as we spoke, battle of the bigs, that's going to come into play if that's the kind of defense we're going to see today. Nice
high kick. And it'll be a line out to Georgian at around the 40-meter line of Durham. It's our first look at the lineup. We'll see how these teams do in the set piece. Looks like a full lineup for Georgian. Oh, it's an overthrow.
Knock advantage by Durham. Not sure if it was picked up by the official. Don't see an arm out for advantage. Okay, let's see what the Durham defense has to offer here today.
And it looks, good job keeping the ball by Georgian. Some good good footwork by the number 12.
Georgian looking to settle into their shape here.
Great tackle by the Durham 6.
Absolutely. Terrell Carter, real vicious tackler. He loves the contact piece of the game.
Eric Georgian is doing a very good job of making the gain line every carry, but there's a penalty against him there for not releasing. So the Durham Lords defense up to the mark, just the same way Georgian was, and we're quick on the ball to try and poach that and create the penalty, and then turn the turnover. Tyler James to find touch for Durham.
Yeah, Tyler, first year player for the Lords, had an outstanding rookie campaign with them. Actually finished the league overall third in scoring with 40 points. Product of Dumbarton High School, local high school in the area here. So he has found a ton of success with this program this year.
Durham going with the 5-man line out. Their line's been outstanding all year long, and once again, they are now making the gain. There's Brendan Beck, taking people on, making the gain line, setting up for his Durham colleagues.
Mackenzie Rowley coming around outside the 10. The Georgian defense, though, is set up well. They have a good fold around the ruck, good double-up tackle there. And that's going to be the key. When you have a ton of bigs in attack, defenders have to be low. They have to be willing to get stuck in. Massive
Durham's got an overlap here. Let's see if they can make this work. Patrick Lynch going for a good run there. Still going. We
have a Georgian player down here.
They've made 20 meters now off of this. Let's see what they do with it.
Good little playoff 10. Referee is going to stop. So in rugby, if there's an injured player, they'll generally play on. This was a head knock, so it was probably called in by the AR. And as soon as there's a head knock, they will generally stop play right away. Safety, obviously, the number one concern on the pitch.
It is an interesting call in that typically when the team with the injured player gets possession of the ball is when they blow the whistle, and that player wasn't involved in the play at all. So I'm a little curious about that whistle because Durham was on the attack. And you don't typically see the referee blow it up when the team with the injured player doesn't have possession. So that's interesting, especially when we're down around the 22 for that.
Good to see number 15 for Georgian up to his feet.
He will be leaving the field, though, to be assessed, obviously. So there's going to be a substitution for number 15.
Yeah, number 15, Duncan Montague, fullback from Barrie North, third-year guy, so obviously one of their experienced guys. He will be checked out. If he's deemed that he can come back in the game, we may see him return.
And Eric, that injury took place when trying to make a tackle on Patrick Lynch, who went for a nice run there and bossed him, and full marks to Duncan for getting involved there. But I think he took the full brunt of Patrick Lynch running hard at him right in the head there. So hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, so in rugby, folks, for those who aren't regular viewers, so the game was stopped, so it'll be restarted with a scrum to the team that was in possession of the ball, which was Durham, roughly in the spot where the stoppage occurred. Okay, Georgian, really good body position there.
There goes Brendan Beck, 8-man pick to the blind side, making some ground, keeps it alive. There goes Jack McIntosh with support. Outstanding run there, boys. Watkins to Parsons.
Good double-up tackle.
Down around the 7-meter line.
Georgian defense. The Georgian came to play some defense today, though. This is outstanding line speed. Getting off
there's
the line.
A gap, and you know what? Durham Lords Lords are going to score here.
That was number 1, Mackenzie Rowley.
Got a great tip ball by big Devin Parsons, who drew a couple players into him, and then Mackenzie shooting the gap there right through, almost under the post, so that should be a makeable kick for the Durham Lords kicker.
Yeah, so Mackenzie, rather new to the sport of rugby, so he came on to the scene a year ago, come from a football background, had never touched a rugby ball previously till last fall, so he's been playing for just over a year and has really embraced it, so good on him. He's had an outstanding season.
So Durham Lords opened the scoring. It was back and forth for a little bit there, but the last 2 or 3 minutes or so, Durham Lords have taken the game to Georgian. Let's see how Georgian answers back.
Yeah, Georgian, no stranger to the bright lights here, Chris. They've appeared in this championship game 6 years out of the last 7 years.
Wow,
absolutely impressive. Yeah, head coach John Daggett, he's done an outstanding job. He's turned this program around, and they have actually, this will be their 7th year, regardless win or loss today, 7th year consecutive with the medal. He's got them in the hunt every year. So, Georgian, they're not going to be too concerned about an early score. They got cool heads out there. They know how to perform when the lights are on bright. John
Daggett, an outstanding coach, former Rugby Ontario Coach of the Year. He's done a lot of great work up in the Barrie area and continue to do a great job here with Georgian.
Yeah, Georgian fans have traveled quite well today. They definitely came out in droves to support their Grizzlies. So not too much concern
over there, actually.
Yeah. Big double-up tackle on Jimmy Stockwood. You can be sure that Georgian has circled him as a player that they're not going to let beat them today.
How big would you say Jimmy Stockwood is, Eric?
Oh, he's a monster out there. He's standing about 6'6", 6'7", about 300, 315 pounds. And apologies, Jimmy, if I'm shorting you on a few pounds there.
And he can definitely move.
Oh, he's an athletic big man. He's got some sweet feet. And again, another football convert that from Bowmanville, had not touched a rugby ball. This is actually his second go-around at Durham College. He played 1 season here in 2018. Again, coming from football, first time picking up the pill, and he took to it quite well. Transferred to U of T, played football for a few seasons, and now he's back with his second go-around with the Lords. So he's been a guy who's been highlighted quite a bit this season.
So we have a penalty to Durham. Looks to me like Georgian not rolling away in the tackle. Referee's having a talk with Patrick Lynch. Not rolling away is the penalty against Georgian.
Yeah, the officials today in a game like this, they know that they want to let the boys play, and they just want to make sure it's a clean game. So they are going to monitor the breakdown closely. A good team of 3 here today, experienced officials. So they're going to monitor that breakdown closely.
Tyler James finds about 25 meters down the sideline off this penalty kick, and now it looks like we're going with a 6-man line out for Durham Lords.
Looks like a 5-man line out there, Chris.
Listen, math's it's not my number 1 subject.
No, I know, it's okay. Good throw by Patrick Lynch, good take by Jack McIntosh. Set a bit of them all. Brendan Beck trying to go for a run.
Here we go. Once again, some outstanding tackling by the Georgian Grizzlies. They're here to play, but break through a bit. Big Dylan Parsons taking that on. See what we have going in the back line here. Looking for some space. Looks like Robbie Iliadis.
Durham just putting the phases together. Not scared to do the hard work.
And with 2 teams as good as these 2, you're not going to get just a 1 phase, run down the field and score a try. It's going to be phase after phase after phase. You've got to break down the defense and find some cracks to go through, and that's what Durham's working on right now.
Yeah, and that's what you want in a game like this. We don't want this to be a track meet and a basketball scoreline. We want this to be well-earned victory today.
Well, they'll chip through by Brock Dunn. We can't get to it, though, and now Georgian has possession of the ball, and they're attacking.
Overlap.
Oh, right through the middle.
Little chase down.
Number 13 going for a run. And we have a penalty against Durham.
Okay, offside is the call.
to me like what happened there was the Georgian player kicked the ball, it hit the Durham player, and then another Durham player in front of that ball played the ball. So an unfortunate penalty, almost
unlucky.
Incidental and unlucky.
Yeah, unlucky.
It wasn't like he played the ball on purpose, but he was there, and that's the call.
Yeah, the letter of the law. It'll be Georgian line out. These two teams know each other well. This has sort of been the modern day OCAA men's rugby rivalry over the last 4 seasons. So this is the 3rd time in 4 seasons they've met in the championship games, and they've all been stellar matchups. So so far in the first 10 minutes, I would say, Chris, we have another one on our hands here.
So that was an overthrow, but ended up landing in the Georgian player's hands anyway. And Georgia in possession right now.
Little mishandle there.
That wasn't exactly what they were looking for there. But they still have possession of the ball, though. Drop ball, but didn't go forward. Big man for Georgian going forward here. Still with possession. Big 8-man for Georgian making the gain line. Good hard run. Released the ball back. However, the referee said he did not release the ball.
Quick tap.
Now a quick tap by Durham. However, they did not go through the mark, apparently. So now we're looking at... We're going back to the penalty.
Yeah, a lot of experience in this Durham squad here. Deep roster. Durham brings actually 9 players who have been part of one or both of their previous championship runs in 2018-2019, which is a ton. When we compare that to Georgian, Georgian brings in 9 players total who are not in their first year. So 9 players who are in their 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year, whereas Durham has 9 guys who've been here for a couple championship seasons. So that's experience in games like this that you're going to rely on when you start getting in the 70th minute towards that last little stretch of the game, right, Chris?
Absolutely. Right at the 50, we have the Durham Lords line out. Taken cleanly. And Brendan Beck with the ball in his hand yet again. Good tackling by Georgian there. Good clear out by Durham. Oh, a sloppy ball, though. Ball did not get into the hands. Being dropped a bit here. Durham under some pressure. They regrouped, though. They got the ball back, organized again. Big man taking it on, but
big double up
great
tackle.
Pressure by the Georgian Grizzlies, though.
Yeah, it looks like, Chris, that Georgian's game plan for this game was to circle a couple of bigs for Durham and make sure that we get double up tackles on those guys. That looks how they want to play this game today.
So the referee's pointed both ways. I'm trying to figure out who the penalty is for.
He's having a chat here with
having some chats with
Patrick
captains.
Lynch. Yeah, this should be a warning. We shouldn't be going to the pocket this early in the game.
Looks like it's against Durham. May have been a side entry of the ruck there. Looked like the one Durham player came and cleared a guy out from the side. So in rugby, folks, when it starts getting into this area of the field, just around the 22, when you start getting inside the 22, anything to slow down the ball, to break down defensively, the ref is not going to look fondly on that, and you'll be penalized pretty quick, either hands in or offside. So around the breakdown, it looks like the referees have prioritized the breakdown today. So a good kick by the 10 from Georgian, and now it's a line out for Georgian on about the 7-meter line of Durham. Durham's going to have to really shore up their defense here.
Yeah, these are those moments as a team. You just buckle down and just play some hard team defense. You know individuals out there. Defense is what you do it as a team. You do it as a unit.
Georgian looking here to get on the board with the 7-meter line out. I'm sure they're going to maul this ball, would be my guess. It's overthrow, but they still have the ball, though.
Left it again.
And
not straight is the call. Okay.
That's a big break for Durham, actually.
Yep.
Durham now gets the scrum on the 5-meter, on the 15-meter, and they'll be able to hopefully win this ball and clear it out. If not, some more defensive pressure by Georgian, who've actually played a great defensive game right now. They're putting a lot of pressure on Durham.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think that's been Georgian's game plan all week for this game. Just the way they're playing, you can tell that prioritize that as their focus this week. Georgian marking up, so Durham has a couple of kick options directly behind the scrum, it looks like.
Tyler Drain just set up to kick this ball. But no, Brendan Beck did pick it.
Spill went back.
Lost it backwards, but now we're going.
Big clear out by the Durham
Reese
forwards.
Watkins did a good job of cleaning up that ball and recycling it. Good job by Reese.
Georgian looking for a kick. Kick's coming. Oh, it's a block.
And
through the dead ball line. Okay, so that was taken back by Durham. Block kick, so it looks like it's going to be a 5-meter scrum, I think.
Here. I think so. I think a 5-meter scrum for Georgian. Yep, that's what it is. So Georgian in an outstanding position to attack here. I mean, they're really licking their chops here. They're right by the goal line. They're on the 5-meter. They're gonna have something on for sure.
Yeah, this will be a move just taken right off the training pitch. This will be something that they've dialed up probably all season. This will be probably their best stuff we're about to see here.
Yes, well, and we'll see how well the pack holds up for Durham. I mean, Durham's got a big pack. If they can put some pressure on Georgian, maybe they spill the ball. They need some good defensive pressure, though. Georgia Pack did a great job there of winning their ball.
Very clean.
That attack was a little pedestrian, though. Just handed the ball to a guy. Nothing really. They weren't really running much of anything.
Yeah, I expect to see a little bit more there. With an opportunity like that, a scrum on the 5, you expect to see a little something more intricate.
And let's give some credit to the Durham defense here. They're up hard, and they're taking away space and time from the Georgian attack. Another good stick there, but he's still on his feet.
Yeah, big rumbling run there. I believe that was Riley Kirk playing 8. Ontario kid played Ontario U19s this past summer, so he brings a lot of pedigree to this matchup.
Looks like it could be a jackal here by Durham. Nope. Georgian comes up with the ball.
Georgia's doing a great job attacking the second or third man outside the breakdown. So really trying to create a soft edge defensively.
Some very good sustained pressure by Georgian right now. 10, keeping that ball on his own.
Really simple attack from Georgian here. A lot of just one-up carries.
Yeah, they're not really moving their feet much. They're just running into people for the most part.
Yeah.
Durham's making the tackles, but Georgian are hard runners, and they're making the gain line, so you can't ask for much more than that, but you like to see a little bit more creativity out there.
Yeah. But hey, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't break it.
Is that what they say?
That's what I say. What we got, held up?
I think it's held up.
Okay, held up.
Yep. Not be a goal line dropout.
But you got to admire, Georgian playing simple rugby, but they're doing it really well right now. Hard carries, held up, so we should see.
Georgian will get this ball back on the goal line.
Yeah, it should be a goal line dropout.
Now this ball has to travel 5 meters from the goal line.
Yeah.
Typically, I think Durham's going to pound this ball as deep as possible.
And it cannot go straight into touch. If it goes straight into touch or out of bounds, it becomes a 5-meter line out for Georgian. So it does have to stay in bounds.
Oh no, they're going back to a penalty. There was
advantage playing, and they are electing for points here, it looks like.
So it played it back to an original penalty. It was playing advantage for Georgian, and obviously they didn't get their advantage, didn't score there. After being held up, they're going back to the penalty, and as you said, Eric, they're going for points. They want to get themselves on the board.
Yeah.
The rule is, if you got points, you got to take it.
Yeah, and especially a game like this, there's no game next week. These guys know, the guys who have been here before, they know how tight these games have been. The previous championship games that these two have played have been within a score of each other. So points, hard to come by, but also Durham knowing that if Georgian's electing to take the points, they know that maybe they don't back themselves to score tries this close to the goal line. So interesting, the mental game that takes place with these decisions as well. Kick is up.
And Georgia's on the board. Score is now 7-3 in favor of the Durham Lords. I know as a coach, my rule is if points are there, you take it. You don't worry about the mental games of what the other team might be thinking. You take points when you got points.
Yeah. All right, so Durham will be kicking off here. And again, the wind has just seemed to progress just ever so slightly over the course of the first 20-25 minutes here.
Seems to be blowing directly across the field and directly through my ear.
Yeah, and directly into my microphone. Alex Lee on the restart.
Nice and high. Outstanding restart by Alex.
Contestable. Good take by Georgian.
Oh, messy. And knocked on by Georgian. Great defensive pressure by the Lords there. they actually forced the knock on with their defensive pressure and their line speed.
Yeah, pressure creates mistakes, Chris, as we know. So Durham now, all of a sudden, with a good look here.
They're around the 25-meter line, looking to attack here. Looks like they've got all their backs to the right.
Yeah, we got
Tyler James, the blind winger, lined up directly behind the scrum, so he could go blind. I would think they're going to attack to the right, to the open side, though.
Wonderful crowd here today. Hard to pick up on your screens, but quite a obviously Durham heavy crowd, but very, very good crowd here today, which you like to see. The bounce back from COVID's been tough for everyone, so good to see everyone out enjoying a day of rugby.
Josh Dusome, big run down the middle, taking that ball from Tyler Jane. Tip ball to Brennan Beck.
Good
to
tackle.
The gap. Making the gain line, though, that's important.
Play off 10. Rewind back to Terrell Carter there.
It looks like it could be a poach happening here, though.
No.
Well, yeah, stolen.
Steal.
Stolen by Georgian. Yeah, Carter didn't have the support there. He went into contact, and the guys just weren't there in time to ruck for him, and a really good job of stealing the ball by the Georgian player. They're going to look to clear. Whoa.
We'll knock messy ball.
So a knock on by the Georgian player, and he got drilled at the same time. Took one right in the face. Can't be happy about that.
No, he got hit with the ball and a player, so double up in the face is never good.
But look at defensive pressure by Georgian here. Tyler James, an outstanding runner, is taking men on here, making the ground.
Stiff. Oh, my goodness.
And he is almost into score. He's ready to go.
He bobbled. That's a knock
forward at the goal line. We've got a Lord's player down.
Does look like
a lot of big contact in that in those phases there.
Yeah.
Tyler James with a great run. He ran from almost the 22 all the way to the goal line, straight armed a couple of guys, and just as he was trying to get across the line to touch it down, he unfortunately knocked the ball on.
Yeah, those few phases before the ball made it out wide was big on big. So big James Stockwood down here for Durham.
They don't want to lose him.
Yeah, no, wouldn't want to lose him. Obviously, he's a big presence for them in set piece, but also in open play. So could just need just a little treatment for a stinger there.
If I can just throw a shout out to the ARs today. I don't know if we've announced them yet, but Brendan Chapman and Bob Mavro have done a lot of high school rugby. We are short of referees all around, and I know as a high school coach, I've had both those referees. They've done outstanding jobs, and they drive around, they donate their time, and they've done a great job of helping high school rugby develop in the Toronto area. Bob comes all the way from Burlington and referees games, so a shout out to those guys. They've done an outstanding job for rugby in the area.
So it looks like James Stockwood staying in the game here. Georgian scrum on the Georgian 5-meter line. So probably going to look to see an exit kick within a phase or two, I would imagine. Number 9 for Georgian, Matt Turco, first-year guys. Had an outstanding season for them. As you know, Chris, your number 9 needs to be a steady Eddie, someone who knows the game and you can really rely on.
So they're running out of their end, and a great run. Oh,
a little spill forward.
To say a great run by the number 12, and in a hard tackle, he knocked the ball forward. Durham has now got the ball back, and we're going to play that knock on, no advantage to Durham. But interesting enough, they did not kick for touch there. They ran out of their end zone, and a good 20-meter run by the 12 before he got hit.
Yeah, physical matchup here. This is, the second or third time we've had a little brief stoppage for some bodies slow to get up. So looks like
the Georgian 12, Rylan Moulton, is a pretty short, stocky guy, hard runner. Looks like he's hard to handle. He makes some good ground there.
An absolutely terrific mullet. So that's got to count for something.
He does have a good mullet. I will give him lots of credit for that. There's a couple mullets out there today.
Yeah, some real good ones too. I would say mullet for Durham College probably goes to Jack McIntosh. He's been sporting that thing for a few years. Really mature mullet, that one is.
Got a stash to go with it too. So.
Absolutely. So he's
looks like probably a 45-year-old out there.
Yeah.
So Durham put in. on about the 18-meter line.
Footing looks a little slippery out there today.
Yeah.
Field's in great condition,
Brendan
but
back with the ball.
a little out the back to Tyler.
Tyler James got a good leg drive. And Durham is over the ball. That blue jersey's got a call.
He worked hard. Yeah, he
good
worked
job
well.
of rolling out of there. Doesn't want to take a penalty in front of his own post.
Yeah.
Real good work by the 8-man to get out.
Jack McIntosh.
Durham knocking
carry
on the door here. Another big run. Durham doing an outstanding job of clearing out the defenders on these rucks.
This is where the Bigs are going to go to work here.
There's about 8 of them there waiting for this ball.
Yeah. Oh, Georgian turnover, looks like.
It's hard to tell what's going on in that big pile up.
Yeah, it looks like Georgian has the ball. They're digging it out now.
Taking the ball out. Must have been a knock on. And now a penalty.
Penalty in from the side.
Against Durham.
Hey, Georgian, we got full marks to them. Just going and getting stuck in on that breakdown and coming out with the ball. If you're going to get stuck in there and stick your head in, you've got to make sure you come out with the ball.
The Durham player looks like Brendan Beck on the bottom of that pile. About 9 players there. Came out a little bit shaken, but holding his shoulder a bit. But I think he'll be good to go. Tough character.
Yeah, like we said a couple times, Brendan Beck, league leader in points this season with 53, led the league as well. Durham had an additional 3 players appear in the top 10 of scoring this year. Tyler James finished 3rd with 40 points. Jack McIntosh with the mullet finished 5th with 27, and Alex Lee 9th with 24.
So Georgian liner right at the 22. They'll be looking to exit their 22 area. Oh,
short ball.
Stolen by Durham. Oh.
Little knock. They got an initial knock by Georgian.
Knocked down by Georgian first, then knocked down by Durham after they stole the ball. So it'll be a Durham scrum right at the 22. So good attacking platform here. Durham had knocked that ball and it looked like they were attacking really well there because what happens is when you lose the ball when you're on offense, you're not in a defensive line there and it's harder to recoup really quickly. So unfortunately for Durham, but still have possession of the ball. Scrum at the 22.
Same alignment in their back line as the last scrum here. Nearly the same position. And a bit of a drive on. The scrum has been fairly even.
Josh Tassom to the gap offload. Robbie Eliadis with a nice run down to about the 7-meter line now. Tassom to Brendan Beck. Beck taking it on. Good tackle by Georgian. Good clear out by the Durham Lords.
Attacking the near side.
Robbie Eliadis.
Shifty footwork.
Georgian player rolling out of there. Right at the 5-meter now. Brock Dunn trying to find that ball in the mess. Knocking on the door, the Durham Lords are. There's big Dylan Parsons. Oh, a chop tackle there, right at the knees.
Yeah, the Bigs are just settling in.
Little pick and go action happening now.
Yeah.
It's hard to defend. You really got to get stuck in for this kind of thing.
And you got to be disciplined. A little short ball off the hip.
Looks like they may be in. And a try awarded. The Durham Lords. That was some really precision pick and go. Some big work by the forwards there. And that last try that was set up by Brock Dunn, who wasn't a pick and go. He picked it and he gave it to one of his big men. And sometimes that's hard to defend because you're so used to just a guy doing a short pick and go where scrum half gets out there, moves a bit, and you really got to move your feet on defense there.
Yeah, Brock Dunn at 9 for Durham. Experienced guy. Has been here for both previous championship runs. So this is, old hat for him. Jimmy Stockwood dotted it down. But the forwards there, inside the 5, brought their lunch pails to go to work and just put it away.
Brock is on the 5-year PhD plan here. Is that what's going on?
I believe so. He's a brilliant kid. Obviously, going through that much school, there's no way you're not going to be pretty smart by the end of it.
An outstanding truck too. I'll give him credit for that as well.
Yeah. Kick to come, up and through.
Tyler James through the uprights. Scores now 14 for the Durham Lords and 3 to the Georgian Grizzlies.
Again, there's something about this Georgian team. They don't look rattled. They look calm, cool, and collected. We saw what they did after the first Durham score. So I think they're confident to back themselves that they'll have their looks again over the next few minutes. Just closing out this first half.
About 5 minutes left or so?
Yeah, 5 or 6 minutes left. But of course, the referee's watch is the one that counts.
So at halftime, Eric, you're going to do some interviews with some of the Durham Lords women gold medalists.
Yes, we are looking forward to that. For those who maybe don't follow, the OCAA Women's Sevens Championship wrapped up last weekend at Loyalist College in Belleville. So we'll be speaking to some of the championship-winning Durham Lords at halftime.
So Durham with the ball around their 40. Some nice run there. Big Jimmy Stockwood rambling. Makes about 7 meters in that run.
Was he rumbling or rambling?
A little bit of rambling, a little bit of rumbling. A little of both. Likes to mix it up a bit. Durham's doing a great job of recycling their own ball.
Big overlap here.
Josh.
Josh takes it on.
With a big run. Looking for space. This man's hard to take down. Got some big long legs for him.
Off his hip.
He's got some good support. And well done. Great run by Josh. Oh, a little drop. Was it a knock?
Yeah, the referee's bringing it back.
Unfortunately, a great run by Josh Dusome. Ran for about 30 meters there. We recycled, and then just the ball got dropped there on the pass out from the breakdown. And now
it's turned into a penalty.
Got to keep the discipline. We can't take a penalty and be giving the ball back to Georgian like that.
Yeah, you got to cool heads in those situations. Obviously, knock on is not what you want there, but it's next task mentality.
And when I say we, obviously, there's no bias there. We, in general, as rugby players, we can't talk and give penalties to the other ball.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Rugby culture, we pride ourselves on. The official has the last and final word, and you accept the call. He's there for a reason, and the AR is there for a reason. They're there to do a job, and you trust that they're doing their job. Full line out again here.
And as you know, I would never question a referee's call.
No, you're known for maintaining your composure in those situations.
Long ball.
Overthrow again.
Stolen by Lords here. Patrick Lynch with the ball. Great clear out. Durham on the attack. Oh, it looks like another drop though. Oh, but a penalty against Georgian there. So Durham got away with one there. They knocked the ball on, but there's already an advantage going for a penalty.
Yeah, there's actually, a penalty here. So Georgian had hands in. The 9 had not actually pulled the ball out. Georgian hands in. And you just can't do that, folks.
Which created the knock on.
Yeah, you just can't do that.
So with very little time left in the first half, score 14-3, Durham has a line out on about the 38 meter line. Let's see what they can do with it. Lineouts have been a little shaky for both teams today. A lot of overthrows, and I'd say Durham's had the better lineout so far. We'll see how it goes right now.
Yeah, with the wind though and the conditions the way they are, you expect
outstanding ball.
Yeah,
Patrick Lynch with a great throw, and here we go rolling around the back. That's a high tackle, but it doesn't look like he's calling that. Well, turnover by Durham, and the ball went to nobody there. Some miscommunication in the back line between the 10 and 12. Georgia now has the ball on their own 40. They're going to want to get out of this end.
Kick's coming.
And big leg by the 10 for Georgian.
Straight out, though. That is a beautiful kick.
Landed right on the line.
Yeah, I think he
nicely for the Georgian team.
Planned or unplanned, it did in fact land on the line. So good kick by number 10 from Georgian, Matt Treemstra.
So a local Barrie boy from Barrie North.
Yeah, listed as a second rower on our roster.
He's a tall looking.
He's a big unit.
Big drink of water, as they say. Good line out by Durham there. Let's see what they do with it. That goes Brennan Beck on his horse yet again. He's getting a lot of carries. And the Georgian player's not getting out of there. Referee's giving him a lot of latitude to crawl away. He did not roll away quickly at all. Really slowing the ball down.
Georgian's still playing some stout defense here.
They're forcing Durham to be a little sloppy here with all their pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some real good tackles, one up.
Yeah. Bit of an overlap here. If they can use it, it's on.
Dylan Parsons taking on 3 tacklers there and still rambling. Makes about 7 meters on that carry. Well done.
Kicks on.
Foot.
That is an excellent kick by Reese Watkins.
Puts that ball behind the fullback. Outstanding kick by Reese. If it sits up, it sits up. Carried in by the fullback or by the winger for Georgian. Now, if Durham can pin him down here, it'd be a great position for them. Great tackle by the 7. And the call is a knock on by Georgian. No advantage of Durham.
So it is a scrum to Durham.
What an outstanding play by Reese Watkins. Saw no one home, put the ball over his head, put him under all kinds of pressure, and now Durham ends up with the ball inside the 22 with very little time left in the half. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, another stoppage for a Georgian player down here. The physicality of this game is quite high, I would say. At the end of a long season, bodies are a little banged, but yeah, quite a physical matchup here today.
Maybe during this break, we'll give a nice shout out to our senior Canadian women who had an outstanding World Cup. Unfortunately, last night lost to the #1 ranked England squad, but holy smokes, what a game. Talk about physicality. The hits in that game and some of the footwork of these athletes, they're outstanding. And what a great game by Canada. A couple bad breaks here or there, a penalty here, or a drop ball there, and they're winning that game and going on to the World Cup gold medal match. But full marks to England. They were big, they were fast, they were great in every facet of the game, and our Canadian women stood up and played one of the best games I've seen them play. So shout out to all of them. We've got some local players, Tyson Bukaboom from Uxbridge and a former Viking junior player scored a try in that game. Julia Schell's also part of that squad. Sarah Kaljuvie from Ajax, Ontario, and a lot of local Ontario players. So great job by them, by the players and the coaching staff. And I'll tell you, watching Sophie DeGoody hold back tears trying to talk about her team and how proud she was of them, what an outstanding young woman that is. She's had so much success in her life, and what a great leader she is, and showed a lot of class last night. So hats off to that Canadian team. And good luck in the bronze medal game next week.
We're back in time here. Can only be a minute or 2 left on the officials' watch here. The Georgian player was able to stay in the game.
Josh Dusome with the ball, looking for a big run again. Oh, Josh Dusome, can he score? Josh Dusome, what a run. A 22-meter run on his own, took a tight ball from Reese Watkins, cut through the defense, broke about 4 tackles, got across the line right at the end of the half. That's a great way for Durham Lords to finish this half. What a statement that was. He's a big body, he's hard to stop, he's fast and he's big, and a lot of skill there.
Yeah, he's hard to handle. He's another guy who's played some high-level rugby through his junior days, coming up playing some Ontario Sevens. And just an outstanding, mind for the game and awareness of space. So good on him for getting and dotting that one down just before half here. Tyler Janes with the kick to come.
The Georgian 10, who I think might be the captain, having a word with the AR, there was something that they didn't like about that. I don't know what it was. I didn't see anything, but you obviously saw something. Asked the touch judge, the AR, to have a look at that and maybe have a word with the head referee.
Tyler, always very calm in these situations, has a great leg on him, comes from a soccer background. Steady Eddie with the kick for sure.
21-3 for the Durham Lords, and doesn't look like it's halftime yet. Looks like maybe a few minutes left. We had a few injuries, so probably carrying over a bit. We're into injury time for sure. Now the captain's having a talk with the referee, so there's something that he didn't like in that last phase of plays, but the referee's saying, carry on.
Yeah, in these situations, I think we've all been on that receiving end where the game is just not going your way. And I think the best thing you do in this situation is just next task mentality, and just look ahead to this restart.
That's going to go
a little overcooked there.
Straight out. So we're going to go back to a scrum at center. Yeah, put it too deep. Looks like Durham is electing to do scrum at center. You don't typically call for a re-kick on those. You want the possession of the ball. So scrum at center for the Durham Lords. And I thought it was the end of the half, but maybe we're looking at another 1 or 2 minutes left. So let's see what Durham can do with the time remaining on the clock at this half.
Yeah, this is kind of an area of the game that you want to make sure you end on a high going into the halfway. You don't want to give anything up here. So you just got to make sure you take care of the bill.
Which way do you think they're going, Eric? They're loading up the left side to bring the defense over. I believe they're going to go to the right.
Yeah, I think they're going Brendan Beck, 8-pick, 8-9 with him and Brock Dunn coming around to the right. That's been their playoff. The majority of these scrums here today, I wouldn't expect to not see it here.
Alex Lee was a dynamic runner.
Yeah, 9th in scoring this year, Alex Lee.
The scrum was messy.
The footing here, though, has not been great. The field, for the good conditions, just those soft conditions that the fall brings, it hasn't been too cold, so it hasn't firmed up really. So it's just kind of been left fairly soft.
And to be fair, none of these young guys wear real rugby cleats anymore. Everyone's wearing soccer cleats and blades out there. So
well, it's all about the flash.
You don't see any of the big studs like we had in the old days.
No, it's all about the flash these days. Who can wear the brightest cleats?
Makes you faster.
It sure does. Well, some of us anyway.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, we have a reset. Both teams look a little shaky in there. Don't like the footing.
He went down again to one elbow, but he's letting him play on.
Yeah.
They got back up together. Oh, they are going to the left. Tricky.
What are the odds that two rugby geniuses like us could both be wrong?
You got to think, who called that play? Must have been Paul Conley, the assistant coach for the Durham Lords. Big fella taking that on. It's our try score from earlier in the game. Open the scoring.
That's a good steal. That is a great steal by Georgian.
This is not what Durham wants. When you have the ball with very little time, you don't want to give away a penalty at the 50. Now, Georgian's got a chance to try and give themselves some confidence and score before the half. So they're either going to put this into touch and end the game, or end the half and regroup, or they're going to try and
call a scrum.
Call a scrum.
So
they want to attack.
Yeah, with that call there, it tells me that time is likely out. In that they're trying, whatever their best stuff is, they're going to give it to Durham right here.
I think I would have kicked the ball down the field because you can't end on a penalty. I would have kicked the ball down the field and gone for a line-out down the Durham end.
Yeah. Now, the fact that the Georgian line-out, I don't think they've hit a clean one all day. With the wind conditions, this is probably the safer bet. So I would like to see something. On here from Georgian. See what they can do before the halfway. And to be fair, their scrum is holding up quite well.
It's like 8 men going to the
big Riley
side.
Kirk.
Two very good 8 men in this game who can make the gain line every time they pick the ball, both Brendan Burke and Riley Kirk. Shooting the gap there with the tip ball. Georgian over that ball cleanly.
Oh, a little mishandle, but he recovered. And a little knock. That'll probably.
That should be the half.
And that is the halfway.
Well, 21-3 at halftime for the Durham Lords. I don't think the Durham Lords coaching staff could ask for any more than this. I think they're quite pleased with this right now. They played well. Georgian has played good defense, but Durham have had more of the ball.
Yeah.
More of the play.
Absolutely. The Lords are going to be happy going into the sheds up 21-3, and we're going to turn this. We're going to turn this over and switch gears a little bit here, and we are going to be bringing in a few moments a couple of the OCAA women's gold medal winners from last weekend, and we'll get their thoughts just on the season they had and some of their accomplishments. They had a great season, so we'll be talking to a few of them in a few minutes here once they get settled up into the booth. But just a quick analysis from the first half there. Set piece wise, I think you give the edge to the Lords. Their line out was looking a little more successful, and their scrum, bit of a toss up there. So I think the set piece at the line out anyway goes to the Lords, and an open play. The Lords, I think, get the nod there as well. But overall, a great game of rugby to watch. There's been a ton of good rugby to watch these last few weeks with the OUA Women's Championship wrapping up and the U Sport Women's Championship going on right now in BC. Been a ton of really good rugby going on in not just in Ontario, but in the country as well. So during the halftime, probably going to see about a 10-minute break here. So we're going to bring in a few of the Women's Lords players and ask them a few questions coming up here. You all want to come up? Okay. Shay, you want to go first? It doesn't really matter. You can go first.
What, me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the microphones are off, but I can't really.
I don't know how to turn it on.
Okay, I'll try. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Heather Buse. Heather is captain of the women's OCAA championship team, league all-star this year. So Heather, just want to ask you a couple questions. So being part of the squad last year, tough loss to Humber in the final, and then coming back this year with a perfect 20-0 season. As the leader of the team, what are some learnings you took from that Humber game that you feel you were able to apply to this season that led you to success?
I think our biggest change was just our mentality going into the weekend. We made sure to keep it really light and loose, but make sure the work rate was up and the intensity was there, because I think a lot of our downfall last season was just our mental state going into the game. So this year we really focused on creating a good atmosphere and getting the work ethic up throughout the whole season.
Wonderful. Like I said, 20-0 is an impressive feat. First championship in school history. What's that mean to know that you made some history last weekend? First championship on the women's side of rugby in school history. What does that mean to you and your teammates as well?
It means so much to me and my teammates, especially coming off of the hard loss last year. It made it so, it just meant so much more to us. We were just really hungry coming out to it. So it created a fantastic memory, and it means a lot to us to be able to bring it home to the school for the first time.
Yeah, wonderful. And then just wrapping up, when you look back on this 2022 season, what's going to be your best memory from the season, aside from the wins and the championship, those bus rides? What's going to be the one moment that you look back and go, that was a real great moment from that season?
Honestly, our bus ride home from Loyalist after the win, it was just such an amazing atmosphere. We were having so much fun. We karaoke'd from the start of the bus ride to the end, and it was just a really positive, fun environment with the whole team, everyone involved. It was a really good memory that I'll just cherish forever.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we're going to flip it to one of your teammates here. So Shay's going to come on in if you want to swap the headset there. So Shay Morris is going to join us. She was the league scoring leader this year on the OCAA women's side of things, league MVP, league all-star, and championship MVP. So obviously a terrific season from Shay here. So Shay, with all the individual success you were able to find this year, what's the one thing you're going to look back on the team side of things and that you're most proud that this team was able to achieve this year?
Honestly, the family that we created over this season and how close we gotten, that was something that I will always and forever cherish. I have some forever friends on this team now. Also, just the motivation and the support that we all bring to each other. We've had some pretty rough times battling injuries, life, and we really pulled together and showed each other love, and that's really what brought us all the way through.
Yeah, awesome. Of course, family being incredibly important. So when you reflect on this 2022 season, aside from the wins and all the individual accomplishments you had this year, what's going to be the one thing that 5-10 years from now you're going to look back and tell a story about teammates, or what's the one thing that you're going to look back and say that was a great part of 2022?
I honestly think just that moment in the last whistle blow of the championship game, that was an unreal feeling. It kind of, all of it came together and all of it ended up being so worth it. In that last whistle blow, hearing that kind of reality setting in that we really did it, that's going to be something that I can look back in 5 years and always be able to smile about.
Awesome. Well, I can definitely say, you're able to create a little bit of history, bring the first championship home to Durham College on the women's side of rugby. So I know just from myself watching and a lot of people I've talked to, we were very excited to watch your team pull it away. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Eric, great job with the interviews there. Two of the most outstanding players for the Durham Lords women's sevens team. Someone else I just saw in the crowd who we didn't interview, Emily Cooper, who was a rookie this year, won Rookie of the Year, scored an unprecedented 34 tries. Just an outrageous offensive player for the Durham Lords, hailing from Guelph, Ontario, and she's played some really good sevens rugby. We played for Ontario in the Canada Summer Games, and just a weapon all the time, always a threat to score. We didn't get her up here on the roof to interview her. I think she's kind of happy about not having to get on the roof for an interview, though. Yeah. I don't know how the other girls felt about that. One thing I wanted to make a note of is when we're talking to some of these players, obviously most community colleges are local, right? So a lot of the students come from local areas. Now, having a look at the Durham Lords roster, 90% of the players in this Durham team are actually from the Durham region and have come out of a really strong LASA association. So the high school rugby in this area has been so strong for so long with the Uxbridge, the Dumbartons, the Eastdales, Henry Streets. It just goes on and on. The number of players that come out of this area. And Barrie as well. The numbers aren't quite the same. About 50% of the Georgian players are from the Barrie area, but Barrie's been known for rugby in high school and their club. They have an outstanding club in Barrie as well. It's a tribute to the coaches and the commitment from the local areas that put these athletes into these programs. So hats off to them, for both the Barrie Rugby Club and the Oshawa Vikings Club, who really developed a lot of players.
So just getting underway for the second half here. Durham kicking off right to left on your screen to Georgian. So Chris, what do you think the Lords would have talked about at halftime there?
I would think they would have said, just stay the course, keep doing what you're doing. Don't get crazy. Don't start winging the ball around. Keep it tight. Keep it under control. Keep making our tackles, and don't wing it around. What we don't want is turnovers. We want to keep control of the ball. Ball in hand is always better. And looks like
a sloppy ball handling there. It has gone backwards.
Some good defensive pressure by Durham here. Georgian still, big up hit. That looks like a high tackle there. Durham player got too high on the 10 from Georgian, and obviously the referee made the good call there with the high tackle. Got to keep him down.
Georgian looking to kick this ball into touch. Into the wind. Again, the wind has not died down whatsoever. Comes off the side of the foot.
Does not find touch. And there goes Alex Lee, who's always a threat. He's an outstanding runner, moving that ball to Tyler Jane, another threat. And you know what? Tyler Jane might go through this. Oh, great tackle by the defenders, but when you don't find touch,
a bit of a knock.
You don't find touch on a penalty. It's tough because obviously Durham turned that back 30 meters back, right to where the mark was. However, they knocked it on, and Georgia got the ball back.
Yeah, just not sure what happened here.
Durham got knocked the ball on when they got the tackle there, and Georgian was able to steal that ball back, and then they found touch this time.
Okay.
It will be a Durham line out around Durham's 45-meter line.
So it is hard to tell. The wind is kind of swirling a bit. It's kind of headed into the northeast corner of the field. So if that is in fact the case, it means that Georgian has the wind at their back, heading into their left corner of the field.
Yeah, the wind at this field is never really an advantage or disadvantage. It kind of goes across the field, so both teams play the same way. But that looks like a knock on by.
Yeah, a little bit of a knock there by Brock Dunn.
I'm not a big fan of the tapping the ball off the top. I feel it puts your 9 under pressure, and if it's not a good ball, it's an easy drop. I like to bring that ball down. Always have the threat to drive. When you're tapping off the top, you got defenders at the back of the line just teeing off on people. So I'd always like to have that threat for the drive. Keeps your defenders honest.
Hey, Georgian scrum. They've had a pretty stable platform this whole game. We just haven't seen their backs really be a threat to attack here.
Comes 13.
Well, a good run there.
So Rob Reiner is the 13, who, as we said earlier, was second in scoring in the OCAA. We haven't seen him run with the ball that much. I think if I'm Georgian, I'm saying let's get the ball into his hands. He's our big attacker, and he did a good run right there.
Oh, Durham's got to roll out of there. Oh, big 5-on-2.
Massive overlap here.
Oh, very well done by Georgian if they can handle.
They just threw the ball at them. So,
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes you got that 5-on-1 or 5-on-2, and you've got so much space and so many players. You don't know what to do with it. And what they did there is they actually turned a 5-on-2 into a 2-on-2 and then put the ball into touch.
Yeah. Yeah, coming out from the break, it does look like the Durham lineup is unchanged. It looks like there's a few new players in the Georgian. Pack number 21 has come on here for Georgian.
And number 16, Nathan Brown, has also come on for Georgian. Number 19. Rahal Dalpitra.
Yeah, now he's been on all game. He has been their starting prop. I guess that's a jersey sizing issue, perhaps, because he's a monster out there.
Trying to throw the commentators off.
Yeah. Well, at least one of us, anyway.
Little gamesmanship by Georgian.
Yep.
Oh, a nice
Great
tip
on Devin Parsons.
But it could be outstanding clear up by Lords there. I thought that was a
3-on-1. Tyler James backs himself down the sideline, gets an offload to Alex Lee.
And wow, that was some outstanding rugby. I'm going to say it. Holy Mackinac, what a try.
So the Holy Mackinac count is at 1 for the day. I mean, if you're going to use it on a day like this, you have to use it on a try like
that. Some outstanding. Oh, looks like the referee's going to ask the touch judge, the assistant referee, if there was a forward pass there. I don't believe there was, but we'll see.
Oh, he's probably just shoring it up just to get an opinion, make sure that they saw it the same way. So and they did.
Outstanding runs by Tyler James, by Alex Lee, and then the offload to Josh DeSome to finish that. And great support. And these guys are hard to handle. They're fast, they're big, hard runners, they're powerful runners, and they run really good lines, really good angles.
Yeah, 3 guys who have played quite a bit of high-level rugby throughout their junior days, connecting on a, if we may use the term, tic-tac-toe, to dot it down just about under the sticks.
3 local boys, both Tyler and Alex, played their high school rugby at Dumbarton, and an outstanding program there. And Josh out of Eastdale, another outstanding program that's local, and all 3 of them played for Ontario at age grade levels.
So obviously we mentioned at the end of the first half the way that Durham would want to end the first half, and I think it goes without saying this is the way they'd want to open the second half. Kick is up and through once again. So that is 4 for 4 on conversions for Tyler today.
Eric, did you know that Brendan Beck is the second most famous guy in his family?
I did know that, but if you'd like to fill us in, I'm sure our listeners would love to know who his younger brother is.
His younger brother drafted in the second round by the Montreal Canadiens. I feel sorry for him for that, but I'm glad he got drafted in the NHL.
Take by Patrick Lynch. Patrick Lynch, outstanding player that he's turned into.
The blue player needs to roll away there. He's laying there for a long time, killing that ball, and didn't get penalized, but a stricter referee would have penalized him on that. Didn't make much effort to get out of there. A little tip ball again. I don't know that Reese Watkins, the fly half for Oshawa, wanted that tip ball by a forward.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting it to come there. That's a tough matchup for Reese. Oh, play on, says the ref.
There goes Josh Desome on his horse again, going for a run. Good tackle by the 8-man from Georgian. There's Tyler James taking on a man and boshing him to the ground. So aggressive, Tyler, when he runs. It's powerful.
Yeah, he runs like he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Could be the haircut.
Outstanding haircut. Pulling it out the back.
Oh, we've got a physio in the middle of the field.
Yeah, there's a bit of a rigmarole happening in the middle of the park here. We got physios running around, almost getting hit by pull passes. Yeah, it's a bit of pandemonium happening here, folks.
Looks like I think the Lords knocked on the ball there too.
Yeah.
So we got to stop it. And there's a scrum to Georgian.
Yeah.
That happened in the Canada game last night as well, where as England was running down the field, there was two physios running across the field to get out of the way.
So just talking about Patrick Lynch, captain of this Durham Lords team, has been part of this program since their exhibition season in 2017. So he has been part of this program literally since day one of this program, from O'Neill CVI right down the road here, and he has turned into an outstanding rugby player. He's bought in and captaining this team. So outstanding leadership, obviously. The season they've had and the game they're having today all runs through him. So scrum reset. The footing just doesn't look sure for either team out there. Looks like they're rather frustrated. They can't seem to dig in with the cleats.
Patrick Lynch, also a great leader. I believe he's part of the Oshawa Vikings mixed abilities team that went to Ireland to compete, and just a class act, a great gentleman.
So Georgian ball on the put-in. Backs seem to be lining up a variation of the same attack structure and a swap structure. So 13 probably coming on a tight line. There he is.
Hard running 12, makes some ground there. A little bit of a side entry from 13. Oh! Wow. Jack McIntosh absolutely destroyed the poor 11 from. He got a ball at the last second
and earns a penalty.
Cut him in half and created the turnover penalty.
So Jack McIntosh is the Durham Lords Iron Man. So he has been part of this program for 3 seasons. He has never come off the field.
And he's so fired up right now. When you make a tackle like that, it fires you up, it fires your teammates up, and you can just see the energy pumping out of him. Interesting kick by Tyler James as he bounces that one.
Yeah, going with the grubber approach. Bold move, as we say.
Changing things up a bit. But let's go back, though. The pressure from McIntosh on the 11. The 11 got the ball, and just as he caught it, he got cut in half.
Well, just a face full of mullet coming at you, and no one likes that.
Exactly. And a great lineup by Jack as well. Look out. Brendan Beck is on his horse again, making ground, still rambling, still rolling. An offload.
Yeah, he leads the league in tries for obvious reasons. He's a powerful runner of the ball. A little forward pass there, looking to give the offload to Tyler. It was on. It was just a little miscue with the timing.
We've spoken about John Daggett, head coach for Georgia, and we haven't really mentioned the Durham Lords coach now, which is outstanding. Johnny Watkins has been at the helm of this team since their inception 4 years ago. This past year, Johnny Watkins was voted by the Ontario Coaches Association as Coach of the Year. He spearheaded the Mixed Abilities program at the Oshawa Vikings, first program of mixed abilities in Canada, and he took the team over to Ireland to represent Canada at the Mixed Abilities World Cup. And he's such an ambassador to rugby in general.
And, we have to mention that Mixed Abilities World Cup finishing second, losing the championship game as well.
And I do believe about 5 of these Durham Lords players were part of that team in Ireland.
Absolutely. A bit of a mishandle by Georgian there. Durham looking to take advantage. I think that's been a big storyline of this game is Georgian mistakes, unfortunately, has left them in a few sticky situations.
Assistant coaches for the Durham Lords, Paul Connolly, who is no stranger to high-level rugby, coached at Oxford Secondary School for a long time, coached with Ontario, former director of high performance for Rugby Ontario, and is also the senior men's head coach for the Oshawa Vikings. Barry Webster, his right-hand man at Uxbridge, and father to Brock Webster, who is playing for the Canadian senior men. Both bring a wealth of knowledge to the rugby field, and are great additions to the coaching staff here at Durham.
Yeah, certainly an upgrade over the previous coaches who were there. I might add.
Well, I think the one coach, Mike Craig, did a great job in his tenure as assistant coach. The other guy, Eric Noyes, he was there.
Yeah. Durham scrum here. We do have a change in the back line. Looks like Robbie Eliadis is out and Connor Barkley is in jersey number, I believe 22.
Brennan back with the ball, going to the right, blind side.
Hard to stop.
Makes a good 7 to 10 meters there. Durham recycles the ball, brought down into the hands of Reese Watkins to another big forward who makes the gain line yet again. Durham has done such a good job of making the gain line for every carry. Now that jersey is a little bit white. Is that Connor Barkley?
That's
there?
Connor Barkley going for a run.
The bright white jersey, not been dirtied yet. He just ran for about 15 meters. Big impact sub. Finisher.
Yeah, huge.
Durham on the 5-meter line of Georgian.
Yeah, and the big man just going to work again. Bring your lunch pails.
Picking and going. Trying to draw that Georgian defense in tight so they can move the ball out wide, but there's picking and going, and it's so hard to stop. There it is there. Tyler James,
back
steps, good tackling, good defensive line speed by the Georgian Grizzlies there. Looks like Durham
just need to settle themselves in here again. They've lost their way. They've gotten a little squirrely. Just need to settle in their pattern again.
Doing some dancing there. They still have the ball. They've lost about 10 meters. And credit Georgian for great line speed and defensive pressure there on their goal line.
Oh, good movement by Dylan Parson. Oh, back inside ball's on, knock on, Georgian advantage. Doesn't look like it's going to come back to the scrum. So Connor Barkley coming in the game, impact sub, good first touch on the ball for him. Product of Brooklyn High School. Again, a football convert, new to rugby. Just really got his hands on a rugby ball a little bit in high school, but was part of the Durham Lords program last year, and his growth and development and trajectory has been absolutely outstanding over the past year. Yeah, looks like a bit of a stoppage.
You mentioned the crowd earlier. It's good to see so many rugby people. I mean, being part of the rugby community, we know a lot of these individuals, and you look around the crowd and you recognize so many faces from the Ajax Wanderers, from the Brock Rugby Club, from the Oshawa Vikings Club, obviously, people coming in from Coburg, and then of course Barrie has got a rich rugby tradition, so a lot of fans from Barrie made their way down here with the Georgian Grizzlies flag flying there, and yeah, it's great to see so many. Fall rugby's outstanding. I mean, the weather's great. You get to watch some great rugby, and here we are on Championship Day.
Yeah. So just a bit of a stoppage there. Looks like one of the Durham players getting a little treatment. Again, like I said, physical battle. At the end of a season, body's a little banged up. These are the days that, sometimes the healthier team prevails. So it is Georgian put in, back up. They're just in between, about halfway in between their 22 and their 5 meter. pick up the win there. It's starting to howl pretty good.
I don't know if they can even hear us on air anymore.
Yeah, we could just be talking to each other here.
So Georgian put in on about their 8-meter line. Let's see what they do to get out of here. Do they run it out? Do they kick it out? What do you think?
Well, based on what they've done all game, it looks like they wanted to play rugby. I mean, being down 28-3, you need to play rugby ball in hand at this point.
You got to run.
Yeah.
Yep, here we go. Going for a run. And
that's a good line.
There's their big man, number 13. Makes about 7 meters on that run. Recycling nicely. Going back the other way now. The problem is, as soon as the scrum picked up the ball, the defensive line speed of Durham came right up.
Yeah, the defense has been outstanding.
Knocked out by Georgian.
Yeah, the defensive pressure by Durham has been great all day. Georgian the first 10-15 minutes was outstanding, but the fatigue has looked like it's hit Georgian a little heavier than it's hit Durham here late in the game.
I noticed that Georgian's bench is a little light. I only see about five reserves over there, 5 or 6 reserves. Now you're only allowed to play 23, obviously, but it can take its toll on you.
Yeah, but we mentioned earlier in this game, the experience here today goes to Durham, but with an older roster also comes the hit of graduation. So this Georgian team, a ton of first years on their roster, which is something I like to see. If you can get to a championship game, being heavy first year presence, that sets you up nicely over the next few years. And obviously, like we mentioned, Georgian, no stranger to the big lights. They know how to get to the dance. So I think regardless, win or lose today, they're set up nicely for the future.
Tyler James at his fullback position.
Oh, a little mishandle there. A little knock into touch.
Knocked on by Durham.
So Georgian will have the option of a scrum or line out. I would assume they're going to go with a scrum here, unless it didn't go into touch, and I'm just talking about nothing here.
It did go into touch, but they took the option of the scrum.
Is Georgian scrum, just on the 5-meter line of their 22, just inside their 22, 5-meter from the sideline. Another change coming for Durham here in the back row. Looks like Terrell Carter is on. We're just going to try to figure out who has been taken off for.
Scrum by Georgian, going wide to their 13 again. Bit of a sloppy offload there, and it looks like a turnover. It looks like Durham Lords have picked up that ball. Trying to do a bit of a sunny bill there, and it got swatted around a bit.
Inside ball to Brendan Beck.
Just taking on bodies.
He's hard to handle, man.
Durham Lords trying to solidify this ball, getting organized here. In a great attacking position right now.
Again, forwards just settling in, going to work here, in tight.
A lot of blue jerseys on the ground laying around.
There is space out wide if they want to use it, about a 5-on-0 overlap.
Looks like it's coming. Here we go.
This is where they're going. You guys get one more, and there you go.
Hands by. Forward pass.
Forward. Unlucky.
Forward pass.
Unlucky.
There was a big overlap there. They're going to score there if that pass wasn't forward.
Sorry, a bit of a mistake earlier. So Durham College change. So it looks like Big Jimmy Stockwood is off. Jack McIntosh has slid into the second row. And Aaron Ramlokin is on the field in jersey 16, settling in the back row.
As a flanker, he'll be looking to get that nice bright white jersey dirty. Should be making some tackles pretty soon.
Yeah. Aaron, another guy who's been part of this program for quite a few years, has been around since the previous championship runs of 2018 and 2019. So here's a guy who brings a ton of experience to this lineup. Georgian scrum has been outstanding all day, but a little knock on the pickup. Unfortunate there.
So now Durham Lords, once again, a great platform to attack from. They've got a scrum around the 6-meter line of Georgian. This will be hard to handle.
Yeah.
that's deflating sometimes. You're trying to get out of your own end, and just some of those sort of unforced errors and it can be tough.
Just not going your way.
A little bit of fatigue setting in there. Sometimes it's that little nudge by the defensive scrum just as you're going to pick up that ball and someone steps on your hand, what have you.
Yeah, and we've mentioned it multiple times. This coaching staff for Georgian, very experienced. The game not going their way today, but this is their 7th year in a row that they're going to walk away with a medal. Like that's outstanding. If you can't be proud of that, then I'm not sure what you can be proud of, because they're there in the mix every single year.
Reese Watkins,
a little bit
high there. Not long enough for it to count as a penalty. Guy pulled his arm back right away. Rambling a bit here now, the Durham Lords, the big man, going to work yet again.
A lot of rambling going on out there, Chris.
Well,
lots of rambling.
That's what the big men do. They ramble. Now Georgian, an outstanding counter. I can just turn the ball over. Real good defensive work there by their big men. Not rambling, just counter-rucking.
Gotcha.
Now they're rambling and rolling.
Now, the one thing I will tell you about this Georgian team, they are not going to give up here. Regardless of whatever the score line is, they're going to play this thing out. And offside there. And we can't talk as if this game's over already. There's still some rugby to be played here.
So penalty to Georgian at their 22. They'll kick for touch. Try and put this ball down the field and give themselves a good position on the field to attack from. They want to get themselves back in this game. And that was a great kick. Brings them down into about the 40.
Yeah, so it does look like Durham is starting to roll some of their impact players onto the field here.
We call those finishers, Eric.
Finisher, you are correct, Chris.
I learned that last night watching the Canada England game.
See, don't anyone tell you you're never too old to learn, folks.
Great lineup by Georgian there.
Very well done. Good tip on. 12. Oh, here's a run.
12 is a good runner for Georgian. He's made ground every time he's carried that ball, and he made some good ground there as well.
I mean, a big man with a mullet, it's hard to handle.
It's impressive, really. He's got the mustache to go with it. He's an impressive stature out there. Let's see what they can do here. They got some of their finishers on the field as well. They want to make their mark. This guy's going hard here. I can't see his number, but
number 20 perhaps. Yeah, we're doing our best trying to get you numbers here.
12 with the ball yet again.
12 going for a ramble, I think.
Keeping the legs going.
Yeah.
Good work by him.
They have space. They're coming right here.
Lord's player's got to roll out of there. He's just got a penalty now for not rolling away.
Terrell Carter, big tackle.
Now, a big steal.
Coming back to advantage here.
Big steal by the Lord's winger, however, the penalty already happened. Relax. He's got to relax. He doesn't want to take another penalty. Just give him the ball and walk away.
Hey, little how you doing? Keep it moving.
And now 13 just punched Tyler James in the top of the head. I don't know. The touch judge was right there watching. There was no real need for any of that.
No.
A little bit of frustration by 13, I think. Now the Lord's 14 was maybe getting a little over the top there. The whistle had gone. He was getting a little high strung, and there's some tempers flare a little bit. They gotta show the discipline, keep it calm. Gonna have a talk. Ref's gonna have a talk with the touch judge here and find out what happened over here. We could tell him because we had a good view.
Yeah, outstanding view up here. The sun is coming out. Beautiful day. It is November, right?
Oh, it's outstanding today.
So if you are looking for more rugby to tune into, the U Sports Women's National Championship is going on right now in Victoria. The games have been absolutely outstanding. If you're listening, and if you watched the Queens UVic quarterfinal game, and I know you did, Chris, outstanding game of rugby.
Oh, both, and then the other game with Guelph and UBC.
Absolutely.
Right to both games right to the wire. A lot of local talent. We're very proud around this area. Obviously, there's a bunch of Oshawa Vikings playing. I know the Aurora Barbs are quite proud about their local players. We've got Maddie Thompson, Kira Alvarez, and Riley Rakowski playing. Riley Rakowski started for the Queens Gales. They're in the final.
The final goes tomorrow. Queens and Laval, with Guelph and Ottawa squaring off in the bronze. So just give a shout out to the Vikings contingent out in BC, supporting not just our Vikings girls, but Queens University. They travel well, that group.
They did not drive the Winnebago all the way, though.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's still parked in Uxbridge.
Big shout out to Kennedy Feasby, who was player of the match in their game against Laval. They lost, but she's an outstanding player all the time. Another local product, Oshawa Viking player for Guelph.
Big steal. I'm going to call a knock. Tough call, that one, I think. A little hard done by there, Jack McIntosh. So coming back, Georgian scrum here, which has been their bread and butter all game, so they are not upset about this. Georgian at this point, they may want to hurry their setup along here to get ball in play. Georgian set up, same backline setup here and a swap setup with the outside center. Setting up a little bit flat to run a hard, tight line. 12 will loop around the back.
Good angle by 13.
That's a great line.
He's going to score a try.
Absolutely phenomenal line.
13, big hard runner. He ran a nice line there, went right through the gap. Great play by 10 to get the ball into their best runner's hands. One of the Georgian players kind of put his arms out like, we do this all the time. Clearly they haven't done enough today.
Yeah, so...
And I don't know that he was involved in that play at all, but he was quite pleased with himself.
Yeah, so 13 Georgian there. Rob Reiners, are we getting that correct? He was second in scoring this year, 52 points, just a point behind Brendan Beck. But obviously, I mean, if he's been running lines like that all year, no wonder he's accumulated a high point total.
Durham's going to have to be careful to not get complacent. There's probably a good 15 minutes left to go in this game, and they've just given a spark of life to Georgian.
Yeah, we've, I'm sure you would agree, both you and I have been part of games, seen games where teams have a comfortable lead and they just let off the throttle a little bit just to give the other team a little bit of life. Case in point, last night, the U Sports women's semifinal game, Queens versus Ottawa. Queens up 22-5. The final score ended up being 22-17. Queens with the victory. But you just got to be careful in those situations. So it is a 28-10 lead.
We did mention the local contingent playing out of Queens and Guelph, and also Ella Blythe and Mercedes Cole, also local products from the area, playing for Ottawa, for the Ottawa Chi-Chis.
So again, hard to tell how much time we have left in this one. The officials' watch is the one that matters. So I would guess we probably 10-15 minutes inside of that.
Restart by Tyler Jane, nice and high, hard to handle. Oh, he wasn't touched.
He was into touch.
That's an outstanding
call. Yeah, and that was actually Alex Lee on the restart there, Chris.
I'm sorry.
I know you didn't bring your glasses with you. That's okay. That's why I'm here. I got you.
Kind of have the same hair, to be fair. Same build.
Yeah.
Different numbers, though. Couldn't see the number. That was a great kick. Right along the line. The Georgian player caught it. We tried to stay in bounds, but evidently went in touch. And now a good line out for the Durham Lords. Right around the 22-meter line. Let's see what they can do with this.
Looking to a 5-man line out, short to the front, mishandled, but did go back, so play on.
Brendan Beck making the gain line yet again today.
He only knows one speed. Whereas the first minute of the game, or the 71st minute, he knows one speed.
Alex Lee with the ball now. Eric. Nice tip ball to big.
Parson to Parson there.
Little brotherly love, sharing the ball.
And he didn't tip it to himself. A pair of brothers suiting up for Durham here today.
The pride of Caesarea.
Absolute monsters. They breed them big.
Devin Parsons, one of the best anglers in the area.
So I've been told.
When you grow up in Caesarea, you have to be an angler.
Non-negotiable.
Growing up on Lake Scugog. There he is again, the big man making gains.
Georgia defense, though, still playing hard. One-up tackles all across the pitch. A little miss ball there. Mishandled Connor Barkley.
All these players are proud athletes, so no one's going to quit in this game. They're going to go hard till the final whistle.
And that's what you want to see in a championship game. Like we said, Georgia knows what it means to play in these games.
More defensive pressure.
A little knock advantage for Durham here. Oh, out the ball, lovely.
Nice offload
by Alex Lee.
Looks like we got a hamstring pull out there, or a calf cramp. Knocked down by Durham.
And we have a little time off here.
Eric, do you know what time the U Sport final goes on Sunday?
I believe the gold medal game is a 6 p.m. Eastern kickoff.
That'll be a huge match between Queens, last year's champion, and Laval, who are a perennial powerhouse themselves.
Laval's had a massive year this year. Yeah, Queen's a young team, but tons of talent in that lineup. I think it's going to be a huge matchup tomorrow night. So that goes tomorrow. Tune in to CBC, 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, a little cramping going on.
Dylan Parsons was down, and he's back up again, back at it.
A little bump and touch there, and it will be Georgian line out.
Didn't go far, went about 7 meters.
Hey, it doesn't have to be a Picasso, as they say. Georgian has been going with the full 7 most of the game. Looks like they have a few out on this one. 5-man, perhaps.
Durham up early there, but looks like the referee's going to.
Yeah, didn't like the channel. Didn't like the channel there. So that will be the one warning. If there is an infringement again, there'll probably be a bent arm to Georgian.
You don't see a lot of the officials calling the up early anymore. It seems people go up and down at their will. So. There's another long
taken by Brendan Beck.
Stolen by the Durham Lords in that line out.
Patrick Lynch going for a massive run.
What's he doing, Eric? He's rambling.
He's rambling, Chris. He's rambling.
Brendan Beck. Ooh,
big tackle.
Good tackle with a Georgian defender.
That's how you coach it.
Ooh. Yeah, getting a little sloppy out there right now. Great steal by the Durham Lords in the lineup, but then they weren't able to produce anything with it. They kind of threw the ball around a bit.
Absolutely. And if you're Durham, you are not unhappy about slowing the game down, a few reset scrums. We do have a player coming on for Durham, number 23, Big Malcolm, coming on for, who's he taking off? Mackenzie. Okay. So Malcolm, again, another local boy from Ajax. Absolute monster unit. Big man with big skill.
And outstanding hair.
Absolutely. So he really does have the holy trinity of Durham Lords rugby player.
So you're saying that we couldn't be part of that group if we played for the Durham Lords because we don't have the hair?
Indebatably, the skill. The size is there, though.
I don't know about debatably. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Oh, that is a knock-on every day of the week, unfortunately. Georgia, they just can't seem to get anything going. And in a game like this, you just want to be able to link some phases. They were able to do it early in the game, but now just they can't seem to get their timing and their continuity, if I may use such a word, together.
You just learned that word today.
I did. You taught it to me.
I do have a vast lexicon.
So reset scrum to Durham here. The Durham back line, other than the one change with Connor Barkley in the inside center position, unchanged in the back line.
There goes Brendan Beck yet again, making the gain line yet again.
Shorts are down. He's down a pair of shorts after that run.
Looks like we're going to do a pick and go here.
Yeah, the big man going to work again.
Malcolm with his first touch of the day, making the gain line. Reese
Cheeky little chip in behind.
Reese Watkins, little chip in behind them. Unfortunately, it bounced into the fullback's hands.
Yeah, dotted down.
But hey, why?
A little advantage, though, coming back for an advantage.
And that's why you kicked that ball, right?
Yeah.
He knew he had the advantage. Really wise play by Reese. He knew he had the advantage anyway, so you might as well kick it through and see what happens with it.
Yeah, and Reese, the starting fly half for Durham, has been part of this program for I believe it's his 4th season. So he knows what it means to play in these big games. Looks like the tee is coming out. And of course, at this stage of the game, late in the game, points are on offer, and it just eats some time off the clock, squeaking towards that 80-minute mark.
To be clear, this is not Durham trying to run the score by taking points. This is trying to run the clock down, trying to preserve yourselves. Because if they were to do a line out and drive them all in and score a try, that would be kind of piling on points. This is more or less, let's run the clock down, take these points, and let's get out of this and maybe go celebrate a bit.
Yeah, kick is up and through. Tyler Janes, perfect day from the tee so far. And like we say, he's been sure-footed all year, soccer background. Time-wise, we got to be within probably nearing the 5 minutes, I would imagine. Georgian restart to come.
At this stage of the game, both teams want to finish strong. They want to stay safe, keep everything cool and disciplined, and go ahead knowing that you've played a real strong game individually.
Yeah, absolutely. So 3 players coming on for the Durham Lords: David Stralick, Tyler McGuire coming on the field, as well as Brian Cibola.
When the substitutions happen, you start to lose a little bit of continuity. That ball that was kicked off there should have been caught in the air. The Durham Lords watched it bounce, and luckily they got a penalty in their favor against Georgian. But it's a little messy there.
Yeah, and we've said it a few times. This Georgian team just starting to feel a little frustrated. It's not going their way today. This is their 4th championship game in a row, 6th time in 7 years. These guys know how to get here. These guys will have another look at it, I'm sure. If not next year, definitely for the years to come with the young squad they have.
And you mentioned earlier about how a lot of these veterans from Durham are gonna graduate. So what's really key in OCAA rugby is recruiting. The coaches have to get out there. They got to get to the high schools. They have to go to the tournaments. They got to get around in the summertime to the clubs. And they have to talk to the players, because some of these players are only around for 2 years. So you're constantly rebuilding. You really got to work hard to get those players out. And as I said, if you are lucky enough to be a Georgian or a Durham, and you're in a rugby hotbed such as Barrie or such as the Durham region, I mean, you get out and there's really good high school rugby and club rugby close to home. So you get to have a look at it and really talk to these players and get them out.
Yeah, Georgian earning a big turnover here. I think it was Riley Kirk sticking his head in, coming away with the ball, and they are going to tap and play.
Big 13, taking that ball. I'd put the ball in his hands every time. Him in the 8-man, I'd be
That big overlap here.
Going back the other way now, reversing it on the rewind. Big stick by Durham, though. Georgia's going to get the ground here. Going to the left. I recognize the 2 in the scrum cap from last year. He's a very solid player for Georgian. Obviously one of their team leaders.
Yeah, Georgia, and we've said it a few times, no quitting these guys.
They're going hard, right to the end.
Yeah, tough kids here.
They're going to want to score before the end of this game, and they're making ground every time they carry it.
That's a massive tackle.
Except for that time.
Yeah.
That's standing stick there.
Yeah.
I was just about to say they're making ground every time, and smashed.
Yeah. Brendan Beck, outstanding game for Brendan Beck. When the awards do come down, I would not be surprised if he earns a Player of the Game look.
And I mean, you got to think maybe. I don't want to jinx it, but you got to think maybe league MVP with his season he's had, leading the team in score, leading the league in scoring, and just been such a leader and such a powerful runner. Game in and game out, he's been a dominant player in the league.
Yeah, we have not come down with the OCAA Men's Awards yet. But certainly he's going to be in contention for that award. A couple players down, and late in the game, you just you hope that we get this game nice and clean and everyone's healthy after this thing.
I don't know who does the voting in the men's, but I'll tell you, if they're watching this game, there's no doubt that Brennan Beck is the MVP of this league.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding day today. So it can only be a few minutes left in this one. We are going to go to a Georgian scrum here.
Let's see if the Georgian can get something going here and score before the end of this game. I think that'd be a nice way for them to finish off. That obviously they're not going to be happy with the loss, but if they can finish on a strong note scoring, that's a good way to finish up your season. And as you said before, no quit, and they've worked hard the entire game. And a very young squad, as you mentioned earlier as well. I believe there are 8 players from the Durham Lords who played First Division men's rugby this summer, so that's the kind of experience they bring to the table.
Yeah. We'll have a reset here. Yeah, the Georgian 10 seems to be a little upset about something out there. I'm sure a lot of that is stemmed from just a bit of a frustrating game for Georgian today.
He's doing a little chirping, and the 8-man's asking him to just
pump the brakes a little bit. Let's just play rugby.
But you know what? Proud athletes, they want to have success, and you know, you get fired up and frustration can get to you, but once again, no.
Yeah, a little missed time there. Yeah, the old, you gotta hate to lose more than you love to win. And obviously, these Georgian players, that's a great steal. Aaron Ramlokin sticking his head in there. Little penalty, okay.
That's an interesting call. So, a great poach by the Durham player. However, the referee deemed that the Durham tackler did not roll away, which is one of those frustrating calls for players because the tackle's made, the poach is clean, but if that defensive player who made the tackle does not roll away right away, they're getting dinged on the penalty, which is, I mean, that can be frustrating for a player because you think you've done everything right, next thing you know, you're getting a penalty.
Yeah, it is the official's call. So he deemed that the breakdown was not clean. So it is Georgian penalty. Great put into touch here, just outside the 5. So if Georgian can connect on this line out.
What do you think, Coach?
Great position.
Maul and drive this in, or do you spin it?
I think I assume a maul here. Just from watching Georgian a bit this season, as well as what I've known about them over the last 4 or 5 years, they do like their maul.
Oh, what a
just not clean.
What's the call here?
Early lift.
Ooh, I don't know, but that's an.
Hey, you were calling for it earlier to see more of that being called, and commentators curse.
No, I don't actually like to see it call, and that was a questionable call there.
Riley Kirk going for a ramble here, and he's got it down. Very well done.
That may have been a bit of a gift by the official there, because I don't know that he was up early on that one. But then again, who am I to question the official?
Yeah, there's one man with the whistle out here, Chris, and yeah, you never want to see some taunting after a score. By the Georgian players, not a good look, but
taunting with the score 31-10.
Yeah,
they did that, the 8-man did that last time too, and I found it strange that he was doing all the taunting based on the score. But hey, competitive juices get going, you get fired up, and they're young men, and they do what they do, I guess.
Yeah. 13 on the kick. Wind is going that direction, and the kick is up and through and over the fence. So time-wise here, we have to be within just a minute or two, I would imagine. So immediately following the matchup here, we are going to stay with you live as we go through the award ceremony, and just maybe give you a little backstory on some of the characters out here today.
But Durham's going to have to be careful here. They're letting Georgian get back into the game here. This is only like a 3-score game. I mean, Durham needs to get this ball back. They're giving the ball. I mean, they have to kick off to Georgian, and Durham's going to want this ball back.
Slow things down.
You don't want to let Georgian run with this ball. They've scored 2 tries in the last 10 minutes.
Brilliant restart by Alex Lee.
Nice and high. Well
good
taken
take by Riley Kirk. A little off feet by Georgian. That's the one thing in today's rugby. It seems to be every attacking sport player's off their feet at the breakdown.
Hey, we don't question the referee. We just talked about this, remember?
That's your only one with the whistle. That is a big stick tackle by Patty Lynch. Big overlap by Georgian here. If they can use it, about a 5-on-2, 5-on-3.
Durham readjusting their defensive line.
Oh, no. And just mishandled again.
He's playing
coming back
penalty.
For advantage.
This is interesting. A lot of penalties called by the referee against Durham
offside
in these last 15 minutes. minutes. Once again, we talked about when you start to bring your finishers in, sometimes the continuity can get thrown off. And we've seen quite a few penalties. Actually, almost all the penalties have gone against Durham in the last 10 minutes. And
Yeah,
Georgia's
so
reaping the rewards of that.
this is where, as the team that's up, you want to stay disciplined. You don't want to give away those penalties.
Well, that's an outstanding kick by the 10 for Georgia.
Yeah, huge
Put that
kick.
ball 40 meters down the field, and now they're in scoring position yet again inside the 22. There can't be a lot of time left, but I'll tell you what, they pop one in here, convert it. That's a one-score game. So Durham's really got to be careful here. They really got to stop taking penalties, and they have to play some really solid defense here.
Yeah. Another change on for Durham. Owen Schuster on the field. Ajax product. Again, big unit, stands about 6'6", 275 pounds. So, yeah, I think size advantage goes to Durham. That didn't look very straight.
That was completely not straight. And the referees.
Yeah, the referees called it.
Good call by the
And that is game, folks. The Durham Lords are the 2022 OCAA Men's Rugby Champions.
Full credit to the Lords. They were the dominant team throughout the game. Georgian played hard defense. They just didn't have the same kind of continuity. They weren't moving the ball the same way the Lords were, and the Lords just took it to them throughout the game. A big, strong finish by Georgia, so you got to give them credit for not quitting. They'll be disappointed, but I think they can take some solace in the fact that they scored late in the game, and as you said before, a young squad. That's something good to build on for Georgia for going into next year.
Absolutely.
Gain experience in these finals.
Yep, and next year those Georgian guys will return, and they'll remember this. You remember your learnings from these types of games. Georgian has had a bit of a string of silver medals, and they are set for a breakout. We can't have coaches this talented and players that come from such strong programs that talented without a breakthrough. So Georgian will be back, I would imagine, next year, and Durham Lords as well. Strong, rich tradition in really the 4 seasons that they've played. This is their 3rd championship, so potentially a bit of a dynasty growing here with the Durham Lords. 3 out of 4. It's quite good.
Saw earlier the Durham players running over to pay homage to their fans on the sideline, and great supporters here, and now they're doing the traditional handshake. I'm sure there's a lot of respect from both sides to each other. A hard-fought game.
Yeah, Durham, really excited about this one. The guys who were here last year, who took home a bronze last year, had an absolutely crushing defeat to these Georgian Grizzlies in the semifinal, which sent them to a bronze. So they remembered that sting from last year, and they've been playing with a chip on their shoulder all year to show everyone that they weren't just a blip on the radar, win a couple of championships, and then take a nosedive. They are very much the top of the table and the cream of the crop. The cream always rises to the top, as Macho Man Randy Savage would always say.
And it'd be an undefeated season. What a way to finish up for some of these guys who are graduating. They are fired up. They're excited, and here they come back to the crowd again. Coming to thank the crowd for all the support.
Yeah, a lot of firsts here. This is the first undefeated season Durham's ever had. Each of their previous 2 championships, there was at least a loss in there each season. So first undefeated season, and the first time that both the men and the women have captured gold in the same year. So first in program history, both undefeated. So perfect rugby season for Durham College rugby on the men's and women's side. So full credit to the men's staff, the men's players, the women's staff, the women's players. Really, it's been a 5-year journey from starting exhibition season in 2017. Women had their struggles, the men had their struggles, but here we are, looking at a perfect rugby season.
To be fair, the men didn't really have their struggles because they won the championship their very first year, so
yeah.
But as you said, and maybe we're homers a little bit, but the Durham Lords men's program is a juggernaut. Last year, I would say, was a blip. Last year in that semifinal game, they had that game in hand, and some interesting things happened during that game, so turned things around. this team has been outstanding for their 4 years of existence, and all the credit to the players, to the coaching staff, and also to the administration at Durham College, who actually, made the call and said, let's start rugby at our school, and brought the men's and women's teams in at the same time. And since then, really, these programs have seen nothing but success for the most part.
Yeah, it's it speaks to a lot of hard work by a lot of important people. Too many to list here. We are going to stay with you as we present the awards, present the medals, and it's always awesome when you see games like this. The smiles on the faces, the family members, the supporters that get out and really get to celebrate this victory. We've mentioned quite a bit. The Durham Lords being so attached into the Oshawa Vikings. It does feel like this is like a hometown team. A little bit of a CFL type vibe. When you have a hometown team, everyone comes out, everyone supports. So there's quite a few people in the crowd here that aren't affiliated to the team, other than buddies. They played with them before, and they're just here wanting to support. So great to see all around. And certainly for a couple of the guys that experienced that bronze medal last year, the dirty gold, as we called it, just doesn't feel the same. So this is what they were looking for, and kudos to them. They got it. Georgian, we've said it a lot. Like, these guys know what it means to be in this game, and they will undoubtedly be here again. So they certainly shouldn't hold their head low, hold it high.
Now you talk about next task. The big task is for the Durham coaching staff to pull all these players out of the crowd, out of their pictures, and go and get their medals. The Georgian boys are waiting to do the presentations, and there's a lot of interviews going on here, a lot of pictures being taken by the Durham guys as they're so excited. I can see Coach John Watkins trying to reel them all in again, herding cats, and say, come on, let's go over and do our presentations.
Yeah, as you know, that's probably about 93% of coaching is the herding of the cats.
It's nice to see so many Durham College athletes. Of course, the women's team are here in full force supporting, but I've seen volleyball players, basketball players, soccer players. A lot of the Durham athletes are out supporting this team today. It's great that it's a home game on a Saturday. What else you can do? Study?
Well, I mean, the rugby guys, I don't think studying's on the agenda for the rest of the day anyway. They might get back into it tomorrow. I think the day has been cleared for this. Yeah, it's great to see. And Durham College does a great job cultivating that sort of inter-school support. They call it DC for DC, where the teams in the men's rugby do a fine job of getting out and supporting the other teams. And then you feel like you want to pay it back and come out and support them when they have their big moments as well. So
we mentioned the Durham coaching staff with John Watkins, head coach, and then Barry Webster and Paul Connolly as assistants. But we didn't mention Malcolm and Liam Spafford and Malcolm Hooper, two former players who have seen gold, have won gold medals before for this team, are also part of that coaching staff. And I would say bring a lot of experience and good mentors to some of these first-year players, because we do talk about the experience from Durham, but Durham's also got about 6 or 7 first-year players on this roster as well. Yeah. And winning this championship, learning from these veterans, and getting this experience is going to bode well for them going into next year.
Absolutely.
They'll be counted upon to be the veterans next year. The Tyler Janes, you mentioned Schuster, and guys like that. Guys who come in and have had success in their rugby careers. Now they're seeing success on the big stage here, and they're going to have to take that forward to next year and be the leaders next year.
Absolutely. And surprisingly, with all the success Durham has had since their inception, this is actually the first championship they've won on home soil. They have hosted an OCAA championship game, the first one in 2018, but that did not take place at this field. Bit of an issue with the weather, and the field was covered tonight, so we had to move that game to a local turf field. So this is the first championship on home soil for them. We're just going to listen into the award winners here. So player of the game for Georgian looks like to be their number 2. I don't know if this is their number 2. Sorry, their number 7. Number 7.
James Rob Kennedy?
Yeah, Rob Kennedy there, player of the game for Georgian.
He had a very good game for them today.
Yeah.
Josh Newsom for the Durham Lords had an outstanding game. Some big, huge runs.
All-Stars for the gold medal game. First for the Georgian Grizzlies, the first championship All-Star name is Jesse Putstein. So
players of the game for Georgian. Jesse Putzai.
Number 1.
Putzai, yeah, number 1.
Big stocky prop.
Yeah, Rob Kennedy being acknowledged there again. Big tough lad in the forwards, number 7 back rower.
And now, from the Durham Lords, the first championship All-Star is Dylan Parsons!
Dylan Parsons had a very good game today. He was a dominant force out there in the forwards, carrying the ball.
Steady Eddie, University of Guelph, finished his degree and decided to make a return to collegiate athletics. Devin Parsons, brother combination, players of the match.
Mother Jody will be ecstatic.
There will be lots of pictures taken.
Caesarea will be pumping tonight.
Yeah, the town will be closed. We just heard officially the town is closed to celebrate.
The championship MVP from Durham Lords is Patrick Lynch!
And Patrick Lynch.
Patrick Lynch, player of the game for Durham. Player of the game, I think he's just been voted player MVP of the championship game. Like I said, has been part of this program since day one. He was here when the first 20 kids showed up at our first tryout in 2017 when we were just playing exhibition games.
OCAA executive member and the manager of athletics at Georgian College. We will now announce the league All-Stars from the Georgian Grizzlies. Firstly, James Rob Kennedy.
Yeah, Rob Kennedy. We are now moving into the OCAA League Awards, it looks like. So these are the League All-Stars for both teams.
And lastly, Jesse Buxa.
So a couple of Georgian players getting a lot of love here.
And we have 4 League All-Stars from the Durham Lords. First is Brendan Beck.
That was a no-brainer. Brendan Beck's had an outstanding season. What a way to finish off his collegiate career.
Yeah, Brendan Beck, OCAA League All-Star. Patrick Lynch, again, has been the stalwart, the steady force of this team for 5 years now.
Next is Jackson Bayer.
Another outstanding player with an outstanding mullet, as we said, and a good stash.
Yeah. If there was an OCAA best mullet, it would have to be Jack, I would imagine. And James Stockwood, a massive unit, just looks like a proud father with his kids out here today.
He is a large man.
Now is the OCAA Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year award from the Durham Lords is Tyler.
Yeah, outstanding.
Tyler James, OCAA Rookie of the Year.
So it looks like we're doing the OCAA awards as well here.
Yeah, these are all the OCAA League awards. So Tyler James, Rookie of the Year, 18-year-old from Dumbarton High School.
Third in scoring?
Third in scoring with 40 points this year.
The OCAA League Scoring Champion from the Durham Lords.
Brendan Beck. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, league scoring champion, Brendan Beck. This Durham Lords team was a juggernaut all season. They're going to clean up here with a lot of these awards.
It's time for the OCAA Player of the Year award. The OCAA Player of the Year award for the Durham Lords.
There you go.
It's once again
Brendan Beck. Clean sweep. Well done.
Brendan Beck,
And much
OCAA
well-deserved.
Player of the Year. Outstanding achievement for him. You don't see too many number 8s who kick, who are as powerful, who score tries. He really does everything out there.
now announce the OCAA Coach of the Year award. The OCAA Coach of the Year award from the Durham Lords.
There you go. Johnny Watkins finally gets his due after 3 gold medals and a bronze. Finally gets the Coach of the Year award that he's deserved for a few years now. So hats off to John. What a great year.
Yeah, John Watkins has built this program from the ground up. This is his first Coach of the Year award. The players are very excited for him. For years, it felt like he hasn't got his due. Winning 2 gold medals, a bronze last year. This now is third. Hardware every year, and finally, rightfully so. Congrats to Johnny.
And I mean, once again, maybe we're a little biased, but this team was undefeated all year. They've clean sweep of all the awards, and they deserved all of them. Rookie of the Year, MVP, Coach of the Year. They deserved all the awards they got. Well done. And as a program, I mean, the rugby program at Durham, the women also got MVP and Rookie of the Year. So very good job for the program in general. But hats off to these guys today. This is their day.
Yeah, so silver medals being awarded to Georgian, and beating the dead horse on this one. But these guys, they'll be back. These guys know what it means. The coaches, strong group. They're the same coaches every single year. They build this program, as we know in college, with such large player turnover every year. You're really starting from square one every August, September, and they've done a fine job crafting these teams that can make it to a championship game. So they're going to be in the thick of things again next year, I would imagine. So we will stay with you through the gold medal presentations and banner presentation. Shirt and hat day, because we haven't called it that. It's shirt and hat day today. On championship day, with shirts and hats are handed out. And being part of the program for 5 years, what usually happens after a championship game, there will be a banner raising night at one of the, I believe, basketball games we usually do. One of the basketball games in usually January, February. At halftime, we'll do a banner raising for the championship teams that have won through the fall. So Durham men and women will be included in something like that coming up in the next couple months, as well as President's Lunch. They have lunch with the president, and he treats them to lunch for their accomplishments. So it's a special thing, winning a championship at any level, any sport really. It takes a lot of special people. It takes a certain sense of family, and this Durham Lords program certainly has cultivated that.
You mentioned sense of family. I just looked down and saw Big Devin and Dylan Parsons with their little tiny grandmother in the line with them jumping up and down. So that's always wonderful to see.
Yeah.
Durham College, the Bears are Chad Andress, Felix Barber.
So just calling out the entire roster, a big long roster for the Lords, obviously. And lots of players that will be back next year to carry this forward. But first, you celebrate this. And there are a handful of players here. This is their third gold with the Lords, which is impressive on its own. Theirs to be 3 championships in 4 years, absolutely impressive. So we're gonna stay with you here. I think we're gonna sign off. Actually, we'll sign off commentary, I think, though, and we'll let it roll. I think we'll sign off. It's been a pleasure to be with you for this game, Chris. Awesome job today, partner. And thank you for tuning in, and congratulations again to your 2022 OCAA champions, Durham Lords.
I need to go down and get the banner for the girls so we can put it together.